Hello, this is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. I am your host of this motivational and inspirational podcast. And today we are completing the tribes of Israel. The last child, or last son, I should say, and the last child of Jacob was Benjamin. Benjamin was the 12th son, the 13th child of all of his children, and the second son with Rachel, his wife. Rachel had named him Benoni, meaning the son of my pain, in Genesis 35 and 18. For it came to pass, as her soul was in bearing, she was dying at this time, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. And if we go and we do more research and more studying in the and what his name means, he is recognized, and I did write this down, but I cannot find it right now. But his name is meaning the right hand. The old saying, the Benjamin of the family, meaning the youngest child. He was the son of the right hand. Now, Benjamin was considered the raven wolf. And if you think about, wolf is very powerful. He's very courageous, and the more of them there are, the more powerful they become. And so they were known as the ravenish wolves in Judges 19 through Judges 20. Benjamin was thought to be a king and a prophet. Now, the tribe of Benjamin was recognized for their courage as a reflection of the blessing of Jacob. You always have that one in the child that he or a father is very proud of, and they would reflect of their father, their courage, their power, their strength. All of that is a reflection of Jacob, which we all know as Israel, because the angel of God changed his name. Now, the symbol of the tribe of Benjamin is a wolf. Makes sense, because they are considered ravish wolves. So that would kind of be fitting. Now, alongside with Judah, the tribe of Benjamin became a Jewish people. They fell under that Jewish guideline, because even then they were breaking up, and as kingdoms were departing and separating, they became of the Jewish population. Now, King Benjamin had taught the people to be humble and pray every day, to seek God diligently, and to be gracious with his love and with his kindness. Because we are ungrateful a lot of times, that we are so focused on the things that are going on negatively in our lives, that we don't look at where God has brought us from. And if he brought us through some amazing storms and fires of life, what make you think that God is not going to carry us through whatever we're going through today? So Benjamin wanted to teach his people to be humble and to pray. Now, what was very interesting about the tribe of Benjamin that I found very exhilarating was that they were considered left-handed people. Now, in Judges 3 and 15, but when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, and the Lord raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Jerah, a Benjamite, a man left-handed, and by him the children of Israel sent a present unto the Eglon, the king of Moab. So the left-handed part is what caught my attention. Then again, in Judges 20 and 16, among all this people, there were 100 chosen men, left-handed. Everyone could sling stones at an hair breadth and not miss. That is amazing. So why is this so fascinating to me? My son, the one that helps me with this podcast, is left-handed. So this is what caught my attention, and I'm like, oh my. And in the earlier episodes with Reuben and with Joseph and with Levi, I wanted to learn about these tribes because we are all one or another, have come from one tribe or another throughout our lives. And although Noah and his sons were responsible for being fruitful and multiplying this earth, along through there, children of Israel come through this grapevine as well. And when we think about the tribes of Israel, somewhere along through there, we were all broken up. We all came from Shem, Ham, and Japheth, which was the sons of Noah. We all broke down, even more so, have come from one of the tribes of Israel. Now, I'm not going to claim and say that my son had come from the tribe of Israel, but the likelihood of it being so is greatly promising because I have not read, and I will go back and redo a study to see if there were any other left-handed children of Israel that maybe I missed. But I thought that this was very interesting to learn. Now, what happened to Benjamin? There was a time in the midst of the united of the kingdom of Israel, and Benjamin became part of the southern kingdom of Judah, following the split of the two kingdoms. So it's a possibility that in a brief moment or a brief period of time of the United Kingdom, that they were become part of a kingdom of Judah following the split of the two kingdoms after the destruction of the northern kingdom, and Benjamin was fully absorbed in the southern kingdom. So absorb, and if you think to take in, to absorb, if you think of a sponge, it absorbs water, it takes in water. So I believe that this is possibly what is in reference to. Now, we all know that at some point in time in our lives, we come from one aspect or another when it comes to the Bible. We came from the generations throughout the Bible, whether some of us came from the tribe of Reuben. He slept with his father's wife, which he was not too proud of. We could come from the tribe of Naphtali. We could have come from the tribe of Asher. Whatever things we need to take in consideration, that our habits, our nature, our way of doing things had to stem from something, not just from our parents or our grandparents or our great grandparents, or even from our heritage, from our ancestors. It goes even further back. And it's amazing what you can learn just from the Word of God. Like I said before, this is the best history book that we all can learn from. I had even discovered or learned that Esther came through this lineage as well, through Mordecai, which who took her in to take care of her as her family was no longer with her. And it was very profound to discover that she was identified as the daughter of Havenal, Esther 2 and 15, and the cousin and adopted daughter of Mordecai from the tribe of Benjamin. So Mordecai originally was from the tribe of Benjamin, and Esther was adopted into. Now it was his cousin, but he adopted her as his daughter, which took her in under the tribe of Benjamin. So again, there will be more study to find out where exactly her lineage really come from, what stem. But if you think about, they're all brothers. Now they may be half brothers, which they were, in today's time, they would consider step brothers and stepsisters, because the same mother and the same father, they consider the family. And when the father goes with another woman, they consider step brothers and sisters. But nevertheless, they were from the same bloodline, which was the father, which was their father Jacob, who later was named Israel. And in that connection, whether she started with one family or with another family, or came from one lineage through another lineage from her family, they're all still family, regardless, because they were brothers. And so the importance of learning this is to learn who I am. Where did I come from? What tribe, what similarities do I have with any of these tribes? And, I will actually go through more deep diving and learning more about these tribes, who all came from each one of these tribes, what king came from this tribe, what king, even though the Bible does explain it. But when we put it all together, we can better understand why there was bad blood, why there was good blood, why some kings did good in the sight of God, why some kings did evil in the sight of God. Sometimes it can be hereditary. Sometimes it's a learned nature. Just because and I have seen where families could say, just because my father did this, don't mean I have to do this. And I've heard many, especially sons of fathers who had fathers that were drunkards, they were alcoholics. And so the politically correct name for it is alcoholic. But back then they called them drunkards, or they stay drunk, or what have you. And I've heard two sons that I found very intriguing, that said, just because my father did it don't mean I have to do it. And that's true. But if we think about it, there are some children say, just because my mother did this, that doesn't mean I have to do this. Just because I saw my mother do that doesn't mean that I have to do it, especially if it's a bad habit. Now, if it's something good, and even when it's something good, there are children that see their parents as attorneys or as doctors, and they said, this is not what I want to do. I want to paddle my own canoe and do something different. They have that right to do that. So we are learning about the tribes of Israel. And I have taken the time to go through each and every one of the tribes. Now I am going to do something with the daughter as well, the sister, the only girl, and I just wanted to see exactly what her contribution, if any. I do understand that someone had violated her, and I do know that the brothers had took revenge on it. And, Jacob wasn't too happy about that. But nevertheless, I will see if there's anything in regards to what role she played in the connection with God, or if she had a relationship with God, or anything of that that nature, or if it was anything to her role. What was her importance? God didn't allow them to have a daughter and she didn't have any kind of importance, or if God even wanted to even mention her in the Bible at all. We never know. But I will go and I will do more research. This is not to be the end of my learning the tribes of Israel. I'm going to deep dive into some more, but I wanted to introduce this so we'll know exactly who is who, what they did, what they didn't do, if God was good with them, if God wasn't good with them. And then we want to learn who all came from these tribes. And as we learn that, we want to see a pattern of whether good was done through these tribes or whether evil was done through these tribes. Now, we all know that Judah was the lineage of where Jesus came from. But did they always do good in the sight of the Lord? See, this is where it's important to understand that even though they were a chosen group, the lineage of where Jesus came through, does that mean that they were perfect? Did they do right all the time? And the answer probably will be no, not all the time. And this is why it will be interesting for me to go in back through the tribes of Israel and see who came from where. And then we want to gel it all together. In order to understand the Word of God, we got to know who is creating the Word of God. We're thinking that, at least I did, when I was younger, I always thought that when each book and each chapter and each verse was talking about totally different people, that I didn't realize that they were all talking about the same people. I can't learn it if the person who is teaching didn't know it themselves. So this is why, and I'm not going to chastise. My dad did the best that he could to teach us what we needed to learn about God, what we needed to know about God, and the punishment and the penalties that we were going to suffer if we did not follow his will and his way. And God worked with my dad immensely. But even he would even admit that he had a lot to learn. Even in his 80s, he said, I still don't know everything. I still don't understand everything. My limitations are just that, limitations. I'm a teacher when it comes to teaching y'all, but I have not deep dived. And I'm like, okay, I cannot blame my father. I cannot fault my father. He got us started. It's up to us to continue on. And it's up to me to teach my children. And then my children to teach their children, because my children may have found something even more in depth than I found. So it's all about a learning process. My dad got us started. It's up to us to continue on the path. And this is what I'm doing. I'm continuing on. And when we learn about the different ones, as I was learning, I'm like, oh, they're all the same people. They're just breaking off. The lineages, it's like the children of the children of the children, but it's still the same people. And this is why it's important for us to understand the Word of God. And it's not just picking and choosing. It's like cherry picking. It's not about just cherry picking. It is about doing what's right. That when we learn about the good stuff, we need to learn about the bad stuff too. It's not all roses and popcorn. It's just not. We have to learn the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help us God. We do. And if we are refusing to learn about the bad side, but we only want to hear about the good side, we're being cheated. It's like taking medication and not knowing the side effects. You don't want to take a medication and not know the side effects, because if you don't know the side effects, You can be breaking out in hives and you don't understand why. You can be breaking out uh, um, with bumps or rashes. You could have a allergic reaction where your throat swell or you can't breathe. If you don't know the side effects of a medication, but you only know that it helps you stop being in pain, it can be very costly to your life. And it's the word of God's the same way. If you only learn the good parts of it and don't learn the side effects of not doing the right thing, you are leading yourself to a major destruction in life. And this is why I do what I do. God called me to do this. He said, He placed it in my spirit. I want you to do this. And I said, okay. And I did. And I stayed obedient. Now, I've been struggling. Yes, I've had hard times. Yes, I've run into a lot of situations. But you know what? God said, I brought you through it before. And I'm going to bring you through it now. What are you doing? Don't start doubting me now. Keep going. And that's what I got to do. I got to keep going. Again, this is the tribes of Israel. This is technically like a part one. This is introducing the tribes of Israel and who they are, what they were known for, and what they did or did not do that was in the eyes of the Lord pleasing. Now, the next phase of it is to find out who all came out of these tribes and what their what their roles were. Were they doing well or good or evil in the sight of God? And then once we go through that process, then we'll go through the next phase. And that next phase is how it all comes together. So the next category, again, I'm going to go and I'm going to read about, I believe her name was Dinah or Diane. I cannot remember right now, but I'm going to do some research on the daughter of Leah and Jacob, the only girl out of that whole group of boys. And I'm going to learn whether or not she had a role, because I don't want to leave her out just because I've done the tribes of Israel, the boys or the men. I don't want to leave the female out. And I'm going to continue on in learning more about each one of these tribes and who was profound and not so, or who was renowned or infamous in these tribes. And as we learn more about ourselves. This is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. I hope that you enjoyed this. You have yourself a wonderful and blessed day.